So yeah, I guess this is a thing now. I've upgraded to a new webcam, so hopefully this is coming out better. I'm still putting it in standard 480p. I'm not going to go too spectacular, but certainly, at least as the way I'm seeing it, I'm not as choppy. So hopefully, you're getting a better quality video. Now that this is the first gaming with Ash with the new thing, so yeah, I've got notes to catch up with for E3. So yeah, let's start with PlayStation for this one, and then I guess tomorrow I'll do the Nintendo one, because I still want to give my thoughts on this and round it off. The part of the reason is obviously trying to get this new computer set up and everything, but also because really post E3 there hasn't been that much news other than the Rockstar mods thing, which Take-Two mods thing, which Rockstar now apparently are very against, and one of the composers of quite a few video games taking loads of people. But in all honesty, Sid Alpha, Total Biscuit, Jim Sterling, loads of people on the net can talk a lot more about that. Leonard French with the copyright issues, certainly with the DMCA stuff with the composer. I can't remember her name, but yeah, that might be addressed in a future video if it still seems to be a thing. But otherwise, go check out their coverage of it, because I don't want to add too much to it other than make people aware that Take-Two are being bastards for mods. And if I can get the name correct, if I can find it. Well, none of that's that. Let's have a quick look. I'm trying to check Sid Alpha's video to actually get the name of the person. I guess because I watched the video, it's not appearing in my feed. Alex Mauer is her name. If you search, it's Sid Alpha, Jim Sterling, and Total Biscuit's last few videos, certainly. Probably a Jimquisition from Jim Sterling. If by the time this goes up on Monday, there'll probably be something to do with that. It'll either be that or the mod situation, but I think they've already discussed about that with Sterling, so it could be this. So either way, E3, PlayStation. So it's weird that quite a lot of the big announcements, although not big, were made in the pre-show video thing. So Knack 2 is coming September 5th for only $40, so they're admitting it's not going to be a full-price game, which is pleasantly surprising. Then they were talking about a new thing called PlayLink, which is basically non-gamers playing games. So the ones that they showed was like Hidden Agenda, which seems to be sort of a Secret Hitler style thing where you've got to do tasks, but one of you has a hidden agenda, like it says. And then there's also That's You, which is free to PlayStation Plus people on July 4th, so I guess I'll be getting that next week, possibly. It seems to be the sort of a Guess Who style game in which you can muck about with your friends. Sadly, I don't have any friends, so I can't play that stuff. But certainly the concept looks very interesting. Matterfall from Housemarque looked very nice. I think that is out now, I believe. Everybody's Golf on PS4, coming at the end of August, again for $40. So again, relatively budget, so it's not budget price, but it's not full price, sort of AAA price. Then there was some GT Sport stuff. I believe still no release date on that. It's a bit worrying, isn't it? Super Hot VR coming very soon. That's always good. Spark, which was VR esports. Well, certainly sports. It probably will be spun into esports if it wanted to. That didn't look too bad. We had a full teaser trailer for Tropico 6 coming next year. Undertale's finally coming to PS4. I think that's in the next couple of weeks, from what I remember. I know it's in my wish list. The new Ni no Kuni 2 game had its sort of, I guess, partial gameplay trailer. I don't know, but it's coming November 10th. And then they announced that PSX 2017 will be returning to Anaheim December 9th and 10th. So the main conference itself was somewhat underwhelming, but there were some pretty big things in there. Although there was some sound issues, at least for the first ones. The Uncharted Lost Legacy thing had sound problems, which the gameplay looked good. Talking about the sound. Same for the new DLC content for Horizon Zero Dawn. Just going by the name of the Frozen Wild. That's coming later this year. And then Sony Bend showcased Days Gone, this time with what looked to be gameplay properly again. Apparently the gameplay that they showed last year was actually more towards the ends. That's a bit crazy, but Days Gone looked very good. I believe that's coming 2018. They didn't put any date from what I noticed. Then we had Monster Hunter World. Some of the Monster Hunter franchise returns to the PlayStation. It started off there, I think, 2004, from what I remember. It's a pretty expensive game, at least to get second-hand, at least here in the UK. Obviously, it wasn't as much when it came to the 3DS and the Wii and the Wii U ports, because they seem to actually publish that. So hopefully Monster Hunter World gets published a bit more. I think it's grown enough as to it's a franchise that a lot of the Western worlds are now established as something that they'll want to play. Probably success of the Monster Hunter games on Nintendo, to be quite honest. Then we've got the I don't know if so we've had the original Shadow of the Colossus, and then we had the HD remaster, and then this they're calling a remake, but it is still Blue Point Studios, the guy who did the HD remasters of the Uncharted original trilogy and the Shadow of the Colossus HD remaster itself. But they're collaborating with Japan Studios to work on this. So the question is, if we're remaking Shadow of the Colossus, and obviously Last Guardian saw the upgrade from PS3 to PS4, when's Ico going to be remade? Please. Please. Then we can have the official trilogy in proper 1080p HD on a PS4/PS5, whatever. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, coming September 19th, looked pretty good. The story demo has sort of received mixed opinions. Some people not as happy with it, because I believe for non-experts of fighting games, there's sort of you can press one button and pretty much win. So sort of weird stuff there, I don't know. And then Call of Duty World War II, which looked decent, but really didn't look outstanding, because all they just showcased was sort of, it's weird. I should be more excited by it because it's back to World War II, but in all honesty, this trailer looked pretty similar to, I think it was Call of Duty 2? 12 years ago? Just with nicer graphics and whatever. There wasn't really any content for the story, and it's like, you know, people got sick of the futuristic stuff. I personally, I love the fact that most of these multiplayer games, they only play multiplayer on. Which is a shame, because from what I could remember, the Advanced Warfare story, the Infinite Warfare story, actually got pretty good got received pretty well compared to previous stories. the Kevin Spacey one in Advanced Warfare. That's what I'm getting the confusion. And Ghosts, which was weird, and Black Ops 3 was sort of a good one to some extent, but even then it wasn't perfect. So the deal here, I would say, is if people are saying they're sick of futuristic shooters in terms of multiplayer, I can understand that, but considering how many shooters are now going old school, when are we going to get fatigue of that as well? And when is that just going to become boring? Because I feel it might be coming sooner rather than later, because once again, people won't play the single player, and after a couple of years they'll probably get bored, despite the fact the single player might actually be good. Now, I'm not going to say it's definitely going to be good, because I've got till November, and it'll probably be crap. But we'll see. Hopefully it's alright. That's November the 3rd. Then there was a VR section thing, so Star Child from Playful looked pretty nice. From what it looked like, though, it was a VR platformer, which to me, I'm like, platformers in virtual reality, I don't think that's a smart move. Then we had from Supermassive, the guys behind Until Dawn, 2 games actually. They had The Impatient, which looked to be sort of creepy, sort of horror stuff, and also the action shooter Bravo team, which seems to be sort of taking Farpoint's sort of sci-fi shooter aspect and possibly expanding on it. Plus it's Supermassive, which, I felt they did deliver a pretty good job with Until Dawn, considering all the issues that had with adjusting from consoles and, I guess, methods, because it was originally supposed to be PlayStation Move exclusive, and then of course it became PlayStation Move optional, but mainly just DualShock 4 because of the color bar, because you could incorporate that into it anyway. Then of course the most important was Final Fantasy VR Fishing. Yes, that's actually what a lot of people have been calling for, to go back to that. Moss looked pretty, but again it's sort of, right, you're ordering a mouse around in VR, so you're like there and looking at it and you're saying, right, go there, do that. It's like, I don't know, not sure, to be quite honest. Then we got to the PS4 stuff. We've got gameplay for God of War. Actually, no, we didn't. It wasn't entirely gameplay. Actually, it was gameplay mixed in with story. The key thing they did mention, though, is what's an outside. It was a word, something to the sounding of what's an outsider like you doing here. So clearly, this is the same Kratos from the original games, who's just, I guess, living out his life in the Nordic world. And it's time for him to piss off some more gods, I guess. Then we had Detroit, which looked very interesting and very David Cage. The interesting aspect of this as well, compared to last year, is it looked to be the character you were playing as seemed to be anti-establishment. So I guess there's going to be the moral choices of, should these, sort of like what was brought up in, I think it was the Second Renaissance, the 2-part Animatrix story, and I probably shouldn't be bringing that up, but the whole sort of, do these androids have morals? Do they have a code of conduct? Are they going to kill the things that hurt them, or are they going to understand that the people that are seeing it are just misjudged? I don't know. Certainly that looked good. Destiny 2, looked like Destiny 1. I don't mean to sound awkward, but it really did. Which isn't good considering you're trying to push this and it's coming out in about 2.5 months. It's a bit awkward, isn't it? Of course, there is PlayStation exclusive content for that as well. And then the thing that might have saved the conference to some extent was gameplay for the Spider-Man game, which is being entitled Just Marvel Spider-Man. Looked excellent. I really enjoyed it. It seemed to have the sort of same style Arkham sort of mechanics for fighting. But I guess because Rocksteady did such a good job with it, it's going to be what I'm trying to think of the studio. Sucker Punch that did Infamous, yeah. It's gonna be their sort of style. But yeah, it looked really good. You had Mr. Negative there and Kingpin and teases of other villains from what I remember. And then after the gumph of, oh, this is Sony, this is Sony, this is Sony, it sort of went back to that gameplay, and we saw a shot of somebody filming this, like Spider-Man doing his stuff. And then they said, Miles, come on, we got to get back. So yeah, the implication is Miles Morales was filming it. So the question is, do you play as multiple Spider-Men throughout the thing? Who knows? It seems promising. It seems exciting. So, yes, all in all, I would say, like with pretty much most of the situation right now, it was a decent show. Nothing spectacular, but nothing overall crap. You know, E3, and I'll say it here, and I'll probably say it again in the Nintendo one, E3 sort of was a middle of the road. Nothing extremely good, nothing extremely bad in general. It was sort of just the safe stuff. Nobody was willing to hedge their bets or their risks. To some extent, Microsoft perhaps with the $500 upgrade for picture quality. You know, this camera didn't cost that much. And hopefully it's a better quality for you. But yeah, I would ask you your thoughts, but considering we're nearly 2 weeks afterwards, I think everybody's thoughts have probably been given. The last one left's Nintendo, so I guess we'll get down to that one next.